it's very interesting. Actually, it was a gold disc in Japan as well. So it was our debut. I have difficulties thinking is the best album of Angra because I see 20 years of work, right? And I didn't, but it was it is. I have to think now. It was like like all this energy of these young kids, 20 years old, all this energy, dreams, you know, like wanting to succeed, wanting to do something, wanting to be somebody, composing, everything connected there. You know, all the kind of still a bit teenager, first time going to Europe we recorded in Germany the album. So it was everybody's first time to get out of Brazil, you know, to see a professional way of recording, all this energy together in that album. The other albums, they lose a little bit because then we were already in the business, right? We were already to the playing. So all this energy is there, and I think this is very important, and then makes the album very special. Because there's a compilation, like some songs. I was playing with Rafael Bittencourt, the other guitar player. We were playing a band before Angra, and then we were doing some of the songs there. So some songs are old. I mean, old, few years old. You know, and if we do an album now, the songs are gonna be a few months old because you're gonna do from scratch, from zero, an album that you're gonna record a few months later. When every band that does the first album collects all the material they have, maybe some ideas from when you were a teenager, you know, when you were 16, 17, you know, so all this energy together in an album makes with this very how to say, contradictory or shock of way of recording, shock of culture, could say, from the Germans and the Brazilians. And I have many stories that happened there in the recording, showing this, how was like this Brazilian kids coming to Germany and suddenly like a very severe producer putting us to do a good album, you know, the shock of culture. So also a lot of exceptions, a lot of happiness, you know. And then all there in the album, I think that makes all these emotions makes the album very special, very unique, you know. And then because when you record many albums, and then you try to do your best, and then some albums are more important than other ones. And it's very hard to understand why. And many bands are like that. You see, oh, the guy had, you know, why, you know, I don't know, Dream Theater has an album like Awake, or why Metallica has a Black Album and never, you know, it's hard to do another Black Album again. So every band has like their best albums, and why is the best album? It's much more than the effort they do, or much more that having only, you know, good riffs or good songs is something else on top of it. And then I think this Angels Cry has a lot of this conflict of culture there, the emotions of being for the first time in Germany, and what you're gonna do, and trying to be professionals. You know, we were like playing in clubs, and then suddenly we're in Germany, recording an album, and then trying to do our best. We're like, just with this in mind, we have to do our best. That's our only chance, you know. So this is a very important state of mind, to do our best. And then we had the gold disc in Japan, but the album was released in November '93 in Japan and got the gold disc, and took like 6 months to be released in Europe. Yeah, it took some time. And then, I don't know, you probably know Olivier Garnier, Yeah, so he was the guy. He kind of we had a manager then in Germany. That's why we went to Germany, and he showed the album to Olivier Garnier. But Olivier Garnier was at that time receiving a lot of bands, and then he didn't listen or something. He didn't care about it. But then one day he said he was in a house of a friend, and a friend was listening to Kate Bush. So we recorded Wuthering Heights from Kate Bush, and then was playing in that house Kate Bush with our version. And then Olivier said, "Well, what's that?" And then he looked the album and said, "Well, I got this in my office. Somebody sent me." you know. And then he came back to the office and listened to the whole album carefully, and then he loved it. And then then he released the album, and then he was one of the biggest partners, I could say, biggest fans of the band, you know. And then he helped us a lot in France at that time. And then we played in '95. So the album was released in '94 in Europe, and then in '95 we played in La Locomotive. Yeah, for the first show. But I had the impression that the Holy Land in France was bigger than Angels Cry, the next album. Uh, Luis Mariucci, the bass player, he used to listen a lot to Kate Bush. He really loved Kate Bush. He was like a Motorhead guy to look to, he was like heavy music guy, and very much fan of Motorhead and this kind of bands. But he had like his other side. He really loved to listen to Kate Bush, like this kind of mysterious songs, and he loved that song. And he suggested to do a cover version, a metal version, and we did a version, and then you probably can find the internet nowadays because uh, you can find from our demo. We recorded in the demo a version like metal, with fast parts and stuff from that song. And then when we were in Germany to record the album, we recorded the drums and bass from this arrangement. But then Charlie Bauerfeind, the producer, he suggested, let's do as well the, you guys just play like the original version. Just play like a ballad, the way it is. The solos, everything kind of like the way it is. Not, because we were like completely changing the song, like double bass and putting more like Metallica would play kind of. And then we recorded the song, bass and drums for both versions, original and then the twisted, version. And then everybody felt that, wow, that's cool. That's much better from the album. Just let's play the original version. So in the end, we didn't record the guitars in the metal version. We didn't finish. Is there like somewhere you could find the drums and the bass from that version, but we didn't spend time because we didn't have much time, right? Back then the studios were expensive, so you have to really decide what you're gonna do. And then with the help of then Charlie Bauerfeind was the person that decided to let's go for the original version. Yeah, and then we record the guitars, the singing, everything like Kate Bush would do, more like original, and then and came out a great version, and then we all loved it. And then it was something that really helped the band in Europe because it was such a well-known and famous song in Europe. No? Yeah, what happened? Well, Papedo, he was already not happy to sing. He was tired and not happy to sing like the André songs are always very difficult to sing because he has a very particular voice, André. And then Edu has a different technique. He's more like Bruce Dickinson kind of voice. And then it was always hard for him to be playing in these André Matos songs. And then what do we have to play? We cannot deny the past, and I stopped playing the song. So it was always a big deal, this. So after 10 years, this comes into a situation that, it's better to decide that Each one goes separate ways. And then of course we tried to call. And then at the same time we had the 20 years of Angels Cry coming, right? When he left. And then we had always the idea to celebrate somehow this 20 years, And then we tried to talk to André to come back to the band, but to do the celebration. Could be, to do a tour, to do a show, to do a party, to do whatever, singing, playing this whole album. And we also invited Luis Mariucci was the first bass player, to do something like many bands does, it's not a unique idea. It's just what many bands does, play the whole album, do a tour, or do some show celebrating. We had that idea. We called André, but he didn't want to come. So what can I do? And I respect because even us, we didn't know that should be this way. Is it the best way to do it? Because we had back there the gold disc. We have back there the people saying that the album was the best album in France or something. What it said is there in the past and it's good. If you try to bring back all these 20 years after, you have to do it good too, And the feeling, and everybody has to be really willing to work hard to make it good. You cannot do just for doing, or just for the money, or just for something. You have really to do because you really believe you should celebrate and do. And then I respect. Andrea said, I don't want to go back to this moment and I understand, because maybe you destroyed the fans. Maybe you destroyed the good image of the fans, So then we were like, well, should we do a selection and to find a new singer? And then we were like, we were already talking to MTV Brazil that we're gonna do a TV show and promoting to find a new singer. But we had some shows booked. We have one show that was the most important, was a cruise, 70,000 tons of metal cruise. It was just a cruise here with Halloween, In Flames, many bands, Drug Force. Yeah, and then was we had to find a singer for that cruise, and then we called Fabio because he was a friend. We used to share the same management. We like him a lot as a singer, and many things good. We asked him if he could do it. That show, he said, yeah. It was a short show because it was a festival, so was not many songs to learn. So he learned the songs. He came there. It was fantastic for us. The vibe of the band, Fabio as a singer, Fabio as a person, and then we get very excited, wow, cool, that's great to, this motivation, This motivation is very, very, very important. When you have a band for many, many years, that you did a lot already, you travel many countries, you play many big festivals, you played many shows, you've been to different studios, producer, you have been all through all that, right? It's different than when you begin, then this is all new and you get excited about anything. Nowadays, we get excited, but it's not as before. So the feeling inside the band, the friendship has to be very good. Otherwise, you're gonna say, well, you know what? They're gonna say my family at home, So it's very important to have a very good relationship inside the band, this very good vibe that you're with your friends traveling. Otherwise, the travels get very tiring, because we've been doing this for 20 years. So that's why sometimes you see the older bands playing with the guys that maybe you say I don't know, I don't like much this player, but what he's doing there, It's just because probably the guy's very cool to travel with, He's just a friend or, part of the family. He has to be there, There's many bands that's musicians like this. if it's like a very democratic band. If it's just like a band like there's one owner and the guy keeps changing the lineup just to please him, that's something else. But so the feeling with Fabio was good. So why not? And then the promoters, South America, and some fans from other countries started, well, we want to see the show too. Fabio and Angra, that's amazing, like everybody's a fan of Fabio, from Rhapsody, from his bands. Everybody likes Angra. That's amazing. We want to listen how the Angra song sounds with Fabio voice. And then we start having offers to go, traveling Brazil, mainly South America, because we were close. And then we decided to do a tour. And then the tour was, good places, good venues, sold out concerts. And then it was so fast that during not during the tour, but when you're setting up the tour, selling the tickets, doing all this, we realized that the tour would be good, and we should think about recording a DVD. And this happened it happened in like 2 months. It was really fast, because we have all this energy, it was inside us, We the Angra band is really part of our identity as person. The fans have to understand, we started when we were 20, and now we're 40s, and then our life were Angra, it's our family. It's very hard to abandon, to go and do something else, to start a guitar school, whatever, or build a studio and start recording all the music from other people. We just we don't want to, we want to carry on our mission, to do the Brazilian metal thing and with Brazilian music. We just want to carry on. And then when things got better with the promoters wanting Fabio's good feeling inside the band, and the fans want to, hear the band again with Fabio, blah, 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 all this, we said, well, let's do a DVD too, because everybody gets very enthusiastic and started to work hard to make it happen. And then months later, we have the DVD, and then now we're thinking about composing a new album. Why not, When we're playing Hellfest, and it's gonna be, we want to do a great show in France so people can see Angra with Fabio, because he's an amazing singer. We would love to, because, as I said, the feeling, his voice, everything, the Fabio, human being and partner, is really good. We want to compose with him to see his, his talent for composing and stuff, which would be great to have input from Fabio. And then we are really considering all this. And of course, we have the issue. He has other bands, and then he lives in Italy, right? So far we managed that very well, And then everything we're planning is considering that and very well taken care. So I believe it's going to be a very interesting experience too. I live in California, so kind of nowadays the band is a bit disconnected in different parts of the world anyway. So I was living in Finland, a few years ago. So anyway, you have this distance going on, But let's see. I think we are very enthusiastic, And then Fabio's checking, his future too, thinking, the best for him and to keep the promises for, all the stuff he's doing. I'm okay. If you can do all, I'm okay with that, In the very romantic perspective, it's not good when you have musicians that play in different bands and stuff. It's not. I think in the 70s you could never imagine, Robert Plant singing Led Zeppelin, maybe Robert Plant singing Deep Purple at the same time. So this romantic view that I'm old enough to share that. I have the romantic view as well. I understand that nowadays it's a bit loose. You see, even like big bands, the guys like collaborating in other bands, and it's a bit more. Let's do the, you know, it happens. You know, you see. Uh, I can give some examples, but you see, you know, the like Alter Bridge. I don't know, like Rob Caggiano from Anthrax playing with Volbeat, or you know, like this, people. It's a bit more loose. They wanna do maybe different kind of music, different situation. Maybe Fabio just love to play more in Brazil, South America, being around this Brazilian, these crazy guys. Think different, gives a new perspective to his life, a different learning process. It's a learning thing, you know. He's been traveling with us in Brazil in places that probably he would never been in his life. So it's like it's an experience, you know. I would love to play in a French band, you know, and travel all over France. It's like it's an experience that learning language and stuff. I think that's a lot of good sides of that, you know, as in a personal view. But of course, in a romantic fan view, that okay, this guy belongs to this family. Couldn't be like going, you know, to other bands. That I understand that too. You know. Oh yeah. Oh, it was great. It was great because the Angra is we see now. It's very hard for us to see, but we have the feeling that it's a classic band already. Because when you play like 20 years, you know, and have your fans were born after the first album, you know. So we start having the feeling, okay, I'm old and I'm classic, you know. I'm not a dinosaur yet, you know, but it's kind of classic already, you know. We recorded the first album with tapes. Come on, it's like, you know, there was no computers, you know. The Angels Cry, so it was like real deal, playing for real, you know, in the tapes. We still, so so it was a celebration, and then we invited some friends that we knew that they could share with us. Tarja, I did 2 tours with her as a guitar player. I record, yeah, I recorded some stuff with her in her first solo album. Uh, and then she really liked. Well, we have like a closer relation. And then she likes Angra a lot. That's why she called me first to record her album. You know, some acoustic guitars like Angra had in the past. So I recorded the album. Then I did 2 tours in Europe and South America, summer tour, and then have like this relationship. So and so when we invite her, she said yes, you know. And then we invite Uli. Uli, I had a chance to meet Uli in a summer camp I did in Germany. And a few days together. We did in a school, future music school in Germany. And then we spent some days together and they started a friendship there. And our manager also brought to Brazil a few times his shows, and he was a manager of Scorpions in South America too. So he had like a relation with Uli as well. So we invited him. He was like pleased to come to play with us. It was amazing because so we have like a friend like Tarja that was perfect to sing with Wuthering Heights, you know, such you know, and stand away because like it's like super high pitch singing from André, and then she was perfect to put a woman to sing that, and Tarja. It was beautiful, and I think those are the highlights of the concert. Is like Tarja's moments is amazing. Like We Stand Away is a beautiful song from Raphael and from Angels Cry, and then Fabio decided that day, that afternoon of the show, oh, he asked, may I sing like a Pavarotti would do? May I sing like a opera guy? And you said, why not? And then they just rehearsed a little bit backstage, and then they went to the DVD singing the song. It was amazing, like that, like a, you know, duet, like classical opera duet. And Uli was the same, so like it's like having like the approval of a legend being now on DVD. Approval of Angra is important from Uli. Tarja as a friend, also approving that she likes the 20 years of the band. We had, we had another invited guy with Milka. He's a drummer. He's not, of course, not even well known as Uli and Tarja, but we wanted to have somebody representing the metal scene from Brazil. We wanted to have somebody representing the bands from Brazil that we came from. So there's a very good band with more thrash called Tortoise Squad, and then they're more trash. They're not the same style of Angra, but the guys are like a great band. They're like 20 years fighting, like they have like 20, 25 years as well history. So we asked the drummer to come, and so he was there as a friend and also representing the metal scene from Brazil, that we came from too. Of course, we tried to call. We asked Andreas from Sepultura. We asked the guys to come, but it's hard to have more guests when you have only one day, right? It's not. It has to be. It's difficult when to find that specific date. Everybody available, and unfortunately, Andreas was not available because he's a friend, and we are a huge fan of Sepultura, and would be very representative to have a Sepultura member in the show. But that's why we asked the Amilcar, the drummer, representing the Brazilian scene, and we also asked a very well-known musicians family from Brazil, Família Lima. Yeah, the quartet is a family. They're very like a people celebrity kind of guys in Brazil, because they are married with famous TV pop stars, blah blah blah. So it's funny because the metal guys from the audience, they knew them, but they know because they are just a celebrity in the TV things or magazines and all this, But they're not metal at all, They're like just a classical quartet. And but they really love. They're like maybe they were the most excited guys on that show because they like the energy of the audience of the metal people, the energy of the rock audience and the metal audience is it's amazing. And sometimes we take for granted because we always do shows for the metal scene, for the metal audience. But when it comes to a classical guy that plays always for, auditoriums, theater, small stuff, and they see like, I don't know, like that night or like 4,000 people screaming, it's like they got super excited, and it was cool. They were super happy. There's great musicians there, virtuosos and stuff. There's like a song that one of the violin players that plays all the guitar phrases and stuff with us. He's like such an incredible musician. That's like a very respected between us as a musicianship as well. Yeah, now this, pardon. So now we start to composing, at by ourselves at home. We're gonna meet in the beginning of March. We're gonna get together. We're gonna have a festival a huge festival in Mexico with like Kiss, Guns N' Roses, and a huge, like, beginning of March. No, that's a mid March. This and have another festival in Argentina, beginning of March. So in between, we're gonna get together to start composing and discussing the songs. Then we have Hellfest in June. In May, we're gonna do more shows, not festivals, but Brazil, South American shows. So we have a lot of requests from promoters, so we're doing this in May. And in between, you have to compose, and we want to release the album this year. So probably like July, August, we're gonna be totally focused in the studio. We cannot do like really summer shows and stuff like that. We're gonna do Hellfest, maybe one or two shows around the date of Hellfest. and that's it. But I'm really looking forward to come to France again to help that. Yeah, and it must be amazing. It's a huge fest. Salut mes amis de France, je suis Kiko Loureiro d'Angra et vous écoutez United Rock Nation. Salut.